Okay, let's be real. You've been on that project, right? The one where everyone's running around super busy, but somehow key tasks are just falling through the cracks, where you're not even sure who has the final say or who to ask when you've got a question. It's a classic problem. But you know what? There's a surprisingly simple tool that can cut right through all that chaos.
So here's what we're going to do. First, we'll talk about that all-too-familiar project puzzle. Then, I'll introduce you to the solution, the RACI Matrix. We're going to break down exactly what each part means, and then we'll get into the real power this thing has to completely transform how your team gets work done.
All right, let's dive right in with a scenario that I think is going to feel painfully familiar for a lot of us. I call it the project puzzle. You know, where all the pieces are on the table, but they just don't seem to fit together because nobody really knows where they belong. Seriously, have you ever been in a meeting, looked around the table, or the video call, and this exact thought just pops into your head? You know something needs to get done, but it is totally unclear who is supposed to be the one to do it. And that confusion, it leads to some pretty big problems. You see, tasks get dropped because one person assumed someone else was handling it. Decisions get stuck in this endless loop of approvals. Key experts get looped in way too late, and when a real issue pops up, everyone just kind of looks at each other. It's so frustrating and, man, isn't it inefficient.
So now that we've kind of wallowed in the problem, let's talk about the solution. This right here is the answer to all that chaos. It's a framework called the RACI Matrix, and it's designed to bring absolute crystal clarity to your projects.
So what is it, really? Well, at its heart, the RACI Matrix is just a super straightforward model for defining who does what. It helps literally everyone on the team, from the top leaders to the people doing the work, understand their exact role for any given task. It just ensures work gets done without all the guesswork.
The name itself is actually a huge clue. It's an acronym for the 4 key roles it defines. That's responsible, accountable, consulted, and informed. Believe it or not, these 4 little words are the secret to unlocking a whole new level of efficiency.
Okay, this is where it gets really good, because understanding what each of these roles actually means is the crucial part. To make this super clear, let's walk through a quick example. Just imagine your team's job is to publish a new blog post for the company.
First up, R is for responsible. Simple. These are the doers. They're the people with their hands on the keyboard, the ones actually doing the work. In our blog post example, the responsible person is the content writer, the one physically writing the article. And yeah, you could have more than one person who's responsible.
Next, A is for accountable. Now this is a big one. This is the approver, the single owner of the work. For our blog post, this might be the content marketing manager. They have the final say, they approve the draft, and when it's all said and done, they're the one who's answerable for its success. The key here, and this is important, there should only be one accountable person. That way, there's zero confusion about who owns the final call. Then we have C for consulted. I like to think of these people as your subject matter experts. They're the ones you bring into the loop for their input and their advice. For the blog post, maybe the writer needs to check in with a lead engineer to make sure all the technical details are accurate. This is a two-way street. It's a real conversation happening.
And finally, I is for informed. These are your stakeholders, the people who just need to be kept up to date. In our example, maybe the head of sales or even the CEO needs to know when that blog post goes live, but they don't need to be in every single review meeting. It's a one-way street. You're just giving them a heads up.
And look at this. This chart just puts it all together perfectly. You've got the core function of each role, the doer, the approver, the expert, and the people you keep in the loop, along with that key rule of thumb about how many people should be in each role. It's the whole framework, right there on one slide.
So, why go through all this trouble? What's the real payoff? Well, let's talk about the incredible benefits your team gets when you put this simple thing into action. This is the power of pure, beautiful clarity.
Honestly, the impact is huge. When everyone knows their role, work just flows. All of a sudden, stakeholders are clear on how they're involved. Efficiency just skyrockets because you're not waiting around for the wrong person to give an approval. And when issues do come up, you know exactly who to talk to. It just creates these clear lines of ownership, and that is the foundation of any successful project.
So I'll just leave you with this question to think about. For the very next project you start, or hey, even one you're stuck in right now, can you clearly define who is responsible, who is accountable, who needs to be consulted, and who just needs to be kept informed? Taking a few minutes to define that upfront might just be the most valuable thing you do all week.